entrepreneur and investor working in AI automation, insurance software, tech, and many more. No other than Mr. John Hasson.
Hello.
Welcome, Mr. John. I'm Book 101 Review, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Um, how long do you want this introduction to be?
It's up to you. If you
All
make it more long, I will listen to it.
right. um, the short version is I got started into tech when I was like in 1984. Was when I first like learned to write computer programs, like as like an 8-year-old kid, like reading out of the book and learning how to change the codes on the screen and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then my career I just kind of stumbled into technology and I turned out to be really good at it. And then that's what I did over the years. And I just slowly moved up from, the guy who like reboots the computer when it doesn't work to programming them to like leading teams to being a CTO. And now I'm kind of at the point to now where I'm just investing and managing existing businesses and things like that. Um, so that's the career side, and on the religion side, I was born into the Mormon, and to me, I consider it a cult. Other people that are Mormon don't think it's a cult because you don't think it's a cult if you're in it. No one says they're in a cult,
Mhm.
but and so my wife and I figured out that it was after dedicating our entire lives from the time we were born to I don't know mid 30s or so. We lived everything Mormon. We did Mormon missions. We got married in the Salt Lake Mormon Temple. We did the secret ceremonies, the secret handshakes, all of it. And when we realized when I realized it was fake, I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? Because it's like realizing that your entire life was a lie. It's kind of like it's Truman Show esque kind of. I guess
Yes.
it's a good analogy.
Mhm.
Or like the Matrix, taking what is it, the blue pill versus the red pill. So
The
and
red pill.
and so we spent the last 15 years rebuilding our lives, rebuilding our friends, trying everything, trying alcohol for the first time, trying marijuana for the first time, mushrooms for the first time. You get like everything that was forbidden or evil or a sin. We tried it. Well, not everything. Like we haven't killed anybody, but
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. John. Thank you. And let's talk about your scarcity and early lessons in life. When you hear the word scarcity, what is the first non-material thing that comes to mind?
this is actually probably my first memory. Um, I think I was, I don't know, 5, 6, something like that, very young. Well, and it was just me and my mother, and we were living in my grandparents' house. My grandparents had moved to Florida, and my father and mother and my siblings. I think I only had three at the time: two older sisters and one younger sister. And I remember it was just me and my mother home, and she and I, well, we're going around the house. We went like I took the attic and she took the downstairs, going around the house finding anything metal we could find that was disposable, throw away. We were basically collecting scrap metal just anywhere in the house. And I remember I found a bunch of cans of I don't know evaporated milk or something like that, some sort of liquid, but they were expired. I brought them down, and I don't know if they were expired or not because I was pretty young, but I knew that they were heavier than they should have been, because they had liquid inside of them. This would have been early '80s, very early '80s, and so I brought them down, and we bought all that stuff that and back then it wasn't by a Walmart. It was like it would have been a Piggly Wiggly or a Safe Mart or something like that. But they had these big machines that to me seemed very big because I was small at the time, and you would put all the metal in there, and it would like categorize it, aluminum or whatever, and then weigh it, and then give you money right then and there. No people just put it in there, it weighs it, and spits the money out. And even at that young age, I somehow knew that those extra heavy cans were going to give us more money than they should have. because they weighed more. Because back then the tech was not as advanced as it is now. Nowadays that would be kicked out pretty quickly, but back then tech wasn't that good. And even then I was like, because like I knew we went to church all the time, and you weren't supposed to lie. Here I am watching my mother do something that I knew was dishonest, but at the same time, you know, the reason we were recycling, I found that was because my mother. I asked her why we were doing this, and she said we needed money to buy milk. That's what we were doing. Like at that young, I don't know how poor we were. I really don't. But I know that we were living in a house. It wasn't a house we were paying for, and my mother didn't have enough money to fucking buy milk, and which I guess was a big deal. I don't know. I don't even drink milk that much now. But, anyways, so we got that, and then we went to. Actually, I don't want to finish the rest of the story, but yeah. So at a very early age, what was the question about prosperity, right?
Yes.
And um, at this point in my life, prosperity just means being able to take care of myself and the people I love. And if I can take care, if I can do that, then I would call that prosperous because that makes me happy.
Truly, truly make you happy and do it for sure. So, can you describe your earliest memory of realizing that something important, whether it was a resource, opportunity, or an emotion, was in limited supply?
Something. What? So the first time I realized something was important.
Yes, please. Whether it's a resources, opportunity, an emotion, or
Okay,
was
I got it.
limited.
Yeah. That's a tough one, actually.
Mhm.
Can we pass? I don't want to waste your time while I sit here and think for like 5 minutes of dead air. I can't think of anything that it just jumps in my head that like the first time I thought of something that was important. I mean, like everything's important. Everything that matters. Your partner's important. Your spouse is important. If you have a pet, that's important. Jobs are important. I guess I find meaning in helping other people. I guess that would be, or helping people close to me, not like random people that I don't know, but like people that are in my life that I care about. I enjoy teaching, mentoring, guiding, or just helping either my kids or people who work for me. So I I I like doing that, and that to me is important. But as far as what's been important to me has changed over the years because back when I was a kid growing up, I thought Mormonism was important, and whatever the Mormon prophet said was the most important thing ever, and you should do whatever he said. That was important. But now I know that's not important at all, and I was just wasting my time. So as you learn more information, what's important is always changing.
Mr. John, how did the scarcity you experience in your early years differ from scarcity we often discuss in a modern first world context?
How did my scarcity in my early years affect my outlook on scarcity in my post years
Yes, in a modern world.
in the modern world? The scarcity we have in my country and all over the world is actually somewhat artificial. It's been created by us. Like in the early hunter-gatherer societies, there was it was it was the groups were much smaller, but everything was shared because so like that kind of communal sharing works well in small groups, but it falls apart in big groups. And so, like some people don't have scarcity and they're fine. But whether it's I don't know because like is scarcity I have more money than you or they have more money than me is that what it is? But that's not really scarcity, that's envy. And envy is always going to exist. Like even if they come up with some sort of universal basic income and AI can makes all of us be able to live, not ever have to work and be comfortable. Even then, people who somehow have more by it, maybe they start some other company or side project. There's going to be envy between every. Envy will always be here, even if everyone is wealthy and is wealthy. Because even if all of our needs are taken care of, um, someone is creative, or maybe they paint, they do art really well, and someone does not. They're going to be envious of that. So what we'll be envious of may change. But right now, it seems like most people are just envious of money, which really just buys people time and freedom. Um, so, and I think eventually we will get to the point to where there will not be scarcity as far as economic. Like no one will worry about food, no one will worry about shelter or anything like that. I think it's going to take us another 50 plus years to get there worldwide, maybe 100, but I think it's coming and I think we can do it.
For sure, we can do it, people. We can do it. And was there a specific moment where your relationship with scarcity shifted from being a source of fear to potential source of motivation or creativity?
Um, you know what? It was about 4 or 5 years ago. I had a very traumatic incident, which after I got through and recovered, I looked at things very differently. Because prior to that, I was always doing most of the work I needed to do myself. I would outsource and I had people like doing work and stuff, but I was still very heavily involved in the project management and the checking and everything else. And I realized that that was actually like feeling like knowing how to do everything and doing everything or being able to do everything myself and guiding people. I wasn't micromanaging, but I certainly wasn't macromanaging either. I was kind of in the middle somewhere. And I realized that that doesn't work. You can't really grow that way. And so I started to back up and give my people a lot more responsibilities than I had prior. And they did fantastic. They did great.
Hmm.
They kicked ass. And like, sure, we don't, and we still talk, and every now and then, like we have questions, we'll talk about stuff. But for the most part, they're doing fucking amazing on their own. And it was me that was the problem, not them. And that was so I learned that, and ever since then, I see success or managing scarcity as like finding good people, and then getting to know them well, and then letting them do their job. They do a great job.
Do their job. Yes, definitely. The emotional and relational ripple effects. How did scarcity affect your early relationships? Did it foster a sense of communal sharing or create a mindset of competition and hoarding?
I'm definitely much more of a communal sharing than a competition and hoarding. My wife is way more competition than hoarding. I'm much more sharing, um, which is actually probably good because she like you know she keeps me grounded. Make sure I don't my heart isn't too big. She's like nope, nope, nope. She's everybody needs somebody like that, especially somebody like me. So I was always about because like even when like working on projects and like businesses and ideas and stuff. Yes, you can usually take over and just do it all yourself, and it'll actually be pretty good. But that's first you get exhausted and you can't scale that. If and and if you can find people that can do it at least 80% as good as you, that's good enough. Be happy with that because you can hire more people to do 80%, and then you can have other people do the other 20%. So you can kind of make it work because the idea is if you do it all yourself, you cannot grow. Well, I guess nowadays you could use AI, so you could build AI agents to do everything. So supposedly nowadays with AI, you could kind of do it as one person, but you need to basically create multiple AIs and manage all that. And the right person could definitely do that. Hello, did I lose you?
Yes, Mr. Jason, what will be your short term and long term goals?
My short-term goals.
Please, yes.
I've got a couple of different ideas for some businesses that I'm thinking of starting. Obviously in the AI space, and so we're actually working on. I've got two people that I've got working on different competing MVPs. I'm going to just kind of see how they look and decide which direction we want to go with those. Um, so I guess they'd be short term, long term. I don't know. I get retire or not retire. I don't know. Just I'm really enjoying my life and doing what I'm doing. If I quote unquote retired, what would I do? So I'm just keep doing what I'm doing because I'm having a good time, and I I actually enjoy it. But
Mm.
I enjoy the puzzles and solving problems and like looking at complex systems and kind of like look like for and interpreting and kind of seeing where things are going to go based on what you know about the industry or the tech or whatever.
Indeed. And good luck to your goals, Mr. John. I'm looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people that want to be like you?
I didn't what?
What will be your piece of advice for those people
Oh,
out there?
what's my piece of advice?
Yes, please.
Um, oh, here's one. Um, Secret to success is knowing which rules to break and when. There you go.
Yes. Thank you for that advice, Mr. John. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be easy and do the last one I read, which was the Elon Musk Walter Isaac biography.
Yes. Highly recommended, people. And thank you for that recommended book, Mr. John. And tell us, how can we honor the legitimate wisdom gained from scarcity without letting it dictate and limit our future possibilities?
Okay, I would say don't even think about scarcity. Don't focus on the negatives at all because if you only think about the negatives, that's all you'll think about. Life is it's like a video game. Like if you ever played, I don't know, World of Warcraft or any of those online MMO games that were popular for a while. I don't even know if people still play those. But you're going in this world, you have a character, you have to earn money so you can buy stuff, so you can feed them, so you can like advance and get them armor and everything. And as I was playing this in my 20s, mid 20s or so, and I was like, this is just like real life. Why am I wasting time on a video game when I can just do the same thing in the real world? And the gold is actually real in the real world. I can actually use it for like vacations or food or a car or a house or whatever. And so I essentially stopped playing video games like that and just applied the same level of thinking to like the stock market, to like business, to my career and like jobs I would get and things like that. And so if you don't worry so much about scarcity, like it's kind of like this. I was always taught, and I think a lot of people are, that if you are in debt, should you spend more time and you get, should you spend more time, or like, let me back up, not in debt. If you need money for something, should you spend more time saving up, like doing what you're doing and just save 10% of your money every day, every month for like 10 months until you have enough money? Or should you spend instead of spend that time focusing on making more money? And I was always taught, like, especially going religious, no, you save your money and you save and wait. But I learned that's not how to win the game. The way to win the game is when you need more money, you figure out how to make more money. You sell something, you create a product or a service, or you find someone and sell something for them. Or nowadays, you can use AI to create an app and just sell it on the App Store. There's all kinds of things you can do now with AI. There's nothing really stopping anybody from doing it. Like if you, and even if you don't know how to do it, you go to AI and it's like, how do I use AI to make money? What are some things? And it'll give you ideas like, how do I figure out which product to buy or to sell or what kind of service to make? Tell AI what you want to do that and ask it to tell you where to look to find it. It will do all that. You just have to guide it a little bit. It's like a hammer. You know, if you're really good with a hammer, you can do amazing things. And it's AI is just a calculator. You know, they told us in school growing up that we wouldn't have calculators our whole lives. And now everyone has a calculator. Matter of fact, if people don't know how to use calculators, they don't get hired sometimes. So it's like the stuff they taught us, everything they taught me growing up as a kid has been wrong or a lie. Everything. So I've learned to have a huge distrust for authority because of how I've grown up. And I've noticed that it's look at it as a game. Don't like, and if don't get upset. You don't get mad if something happens in life. You just like, okay, I learned I won't do that again, kind of a thing. And you could choose your own goal. My goal is to be able to support my family and hire people and mentor them into positions of leadership and have them run companies for me. That's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. It's fun. I enjoy it. But like your goal, maybe you just want to be, maybe you oh shit, I don't know. Maybe you want to be a mom and stay home and have kids. That can be your purpose too. They're both valid, great purposes. It doesn't matter what your purpose is. You get to decide that, and you're the one that gets to decide if you're living your purpose or not. Other people don't let other people tell you.
Yes, indeed. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. John, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, and my Book 101 review in fifth season too, Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its second season, and my baby podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Bible Versus 101, and Entrepreneur 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. John, reflecting on your journey, what has been the most surprising gift or strength that emerged from the soil of early limitation?
The only gift I can really think of from that time in my life when I was quote unquote Mormon was when I did 2 years as a Mormon mission, basically selling religion door to door in America. Uh, no one wants to hear that stuff. No one cares. Um, but I surprisingly got pretty good at it. I mean, like American missionaries would baptize like I don't know 3 to 6 for over 2 year period if you were lucky. I was able to do more. Now I wasn't the highest. There's definitely people higher than me, but I did well above average, and I got really good at just being comfortable talking to people and strangers that I didn't know. So it I don't know it helped me exercise my extrovert skills. I don't know. And I'm always
Mm-hmm.
my friends usually most of my I have a lot of introvert friends and things like that, and they're always like just trying to keep up with me. Sometimes they're always like complaining a little bit that I just keep going and going. But I just I get excited. I oh my god I enjoy hanging out with people. Like when I'm with a crowd, I come back with all energized. And when like my wife, when my wife's in a big crowd, it drains her energy. So by the time
Mm-hmm.
we go home, she's just exhausted, and I'm just like running around like a cat in heat, looking for something else to do.
Mr. John Hasson, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
If you're interested, Google me and follow me on Facebook or X or Instagram or whatever.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. John Hasson because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy will rise. So, Mr. John, thank you so much for your time.
Mhm.
Monica, people, see you soon.